What's up? It's your boy, I Know Mercy, the Mad Hatter, here at you again with something a little bit unusual. It's been a while, hasn't it, since my last comic book review. In fact, the only one I ever did was for Teen Titans Rebirth. But the thing is, I actually did try and record my reactions to reading the first story arc for the all new Wolverine because believe it or not, X-23 is my second favorite Marvel hero of all time, right behind Spider-Man. I'm not kidding. I really, really like X-23. And I was always kind of curious about her run as Wolverine. I don't know if she's still Wolverine or if Logan came back, but I was curious what her tenure as Wolverine was gonna be like, and I was actually surprised by how much I dug it. Overall, I thought it was at least the first story was pretty good, but there was something wrong with my webcam on my old computer, and for some reason it didn't record me when I was doing the video. Like the audio just cut out for whatever reason, so I lost that. And I always like to do these reviews when as I'm reading them. Like, it's my first reaction. This is my first time reading it, and this is what I think about it as I go. But I also did another one about a comic I have read a lot. The first story arc of Hellboy, the Seed of Destruction story. And that one was just kind of me getting my opinion about Hellboy and how much I love the character out there. But that one turned out to be just the first issue. Me talking about the first issue was over 20 minutes long. So yeah, like the entire four issue story would have been over an hour and a half long. So I mean, if you want to hear that, I can maybe cut it up, but yeah, that's really fucking long. Um, but I haven't really read anything that I thought was worth talking about. I mean, I read the Boom Entertainment Power Rangers comics, and I might do a video about one of them because those are actually pretty good, and I personally really love Power Rangers, so there's that. But this is something I just found today, just completely random. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know it was coming out, but here it is. Taarna from Heavy Metal. Um, so if you might have seen the cult heavy metal film from 1980, whatever it was. It was sometime in the late 80s, I think, which is obviously based on the popular fantasy comic anthology Heavy Metal. And that was not a good movie, but it was interesting in its strangeness. Let's just say, like some of the individual stories were actually pretty decent, but just the movie as a whole wasn't great. But the animation was amazing for the time, and it was an animated film directed at an adult audience, which you don't see that much. It's especially not anymore. The last animated film that was aimed at an adult audience was Sausage Party, which I still haven't seen, but I heard good things about. And and one of the big segments in the heavy metal movie was Taarna. The white-haired warrior fighting off those weird green mutant things. And and I first saw heavy metal when I want to say 14, 15. So all the violence and the blood and the sex and the nudity, that just drew me in. And like, even now when I'm older and I've kind of gotten over that bullshit, I still find heavy metal an entertaining watch. I still think it's not a good movie, but at least an entertaining one. And I did not expect this. Um, someone brought Taarna back, which is like, didn't she die in at the end of the movie? But like another Taarna. Well, no, Taarna is her name. The Tarakian is her race, so it isn't. So I'm pretty sure this isn't the little girl that the Gratnar, Glocknar, whatever the glowing ball of evil was talking to throughout the whole thing, and turned out, she's a Tarakian too. I do think it is Taarna. I don't think it's the little girl in this. I do think it's Taarna. So, which of course brings up the question: how the hell is she still alive? But whatever. It's magic. You don't need to explain it. But yeah, this is the first issue of an ongoing Taarna series, which, again, didn't expect. But, here we go. So again, this is the first issue, so this one's actually going to be pretty short, but it starts off in a city. It's supposedly besieged by demons, so their food is in short supply. They probably don't have a lot of clean water, so they have to ration a bunch of things out. You actually see two kids. I don't remember what the boy's name is, but the girl's name is Suki. And they're just like, they're street urchins and shit like that, so they're scrounging for food and everything like that. And then a fucking meteor lands in the center of town. Or, I guess in a church or something, I don't know. But, something falls out of the sky, just crash lands into this church, and Suki and her brother are just like, hey. And Suki just runs towards the fucking thing, and her brother like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you going towards the bomb that just hit the city? And she's like, it's not a bomb. It's a person. And it is a person. It's Taarna. And she's naked. Because of course she is. Just... Nope, like 3 pages in, naked Taarna. There you go. It's heavy metal, so what do you want? So yeah, it's Taarna. She's completely naked. She still has a sword, so that's good at least. I don't know what happened to her bird. Like, you do see birds similar to hers later in the show, later in the comic, and that's actually important. Like, I noticed, like, that looks like Taarna's bird, but I'll get that. But Taarna crash lands in this church. At least I think it's a church. She crashed through a stained glass window, and it was a big building. So like, I just assume it's a church, but I really don't know. Like Suki and her brother, they're talking. They're kind of arguing about what to do with Taarna, and while I was reading this, I couldn't help but think of Sokka and Katara in Last Airbender when they found Aang, because it's really similar. Like, it's eerily similar to that situation. It's like, it's a country at war. There's an army coming towards them. This warrior falls from the sky. Well, okay, technically Aang was like trapped in an ice cube, but like two siblings find an ancient warrior who can actually save them from this army just by pure happenstance. It's like, it's really close to Last Airbender. Like, I don't think they were trying to rip them off, or but I couldn't help but notice the parallels, especially since the brother is much like Sokka, wanting to just either abandon Taarna or turn her in, and Suki she wants to help her, and everything like that. And something I think a lot of people kind of believe, but it wasn't viscerally established, is that Taarna can't talk. Either she can't talk or she chooses not to. I think in this, it's she physically cannot speak. Because Suki was trying to talk to her, and then she just makes this little gesture, and it's like, oh, you can't talk, but you can understand us. And like, she doesn't try to correct her, so I'm guessing like she can't talk. Okay. I'm actually really okay with like mute characters because it lets you, especially in animated or drawn form, because then you have to do everything through facial expression and body language, and that can be challenging for an artist. But I think it's also really good visual storytelling. So Taarna's okay despite falling from the fucking sky and being knocked out because she's Taarna and she's awesome. She gets up, grabs her sword, like I guess grabs a robe that's just lying nearby, puts it on, and just walks the fuck out of the church. Um, and it is a robe, and like it isn't like it isn't like drapes that she finds and puts on like a robe. It's an actual robe. So again, it kind of feeds into this is a church, but never go back there, so it doesn't really matter. Um, so Taarna goes out, she walks around for a little bit, and then these military dudes show up and arrest her and Suki, but for some reason don't arrest the brother, or they do arrest the brother, but they separate him and Suki for whatever reason. I don't remember. But they take Suki and Taarna to this big military complex and enlist them into the city's army, I guess. And there's and the commander dude, he comes up and says there are demons coming, we have to stop them. And like I said, it was when Suki and her brother found Taarna, it really did remind me of Last Airbender, and this is obviously where it diverges because Aang wasn't, because Aang and Katara weren't conscripted into the Water Tribe army as soon as they found him, but it's whatever. But this is interesting because this is when you really start to realize that things aren't right in this city, because I mean obviously just conscripting random people isn't cool in any way. I mean, yeah, there's a draft, but that's whatever. I mean, just dragging people out of the fucking streets. That's, yeah. But the commander gets up, he gives this big speech about the demons, they're coming, we have to defend the city, blah 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 blah. And then something happens to most of the soldiers, the new recruits. And it happens to Suki too, but it doesn't happen to Taarna, and I have a theory about that. But it gets them amped and gets them bloodthirsty, and like even Suki, while she and Taarna are running with the other new recruits, she says like, "Oh, I can't wait to get out there and kill some fucking demons." Why did I think being in the army was a bad thing? It's like, oh, okay. Because after the commander dude was done speaking, there was a shot of a bunch of people and their eyes were weird. It's like, okay, so there's mind control going on. Okay, so that's what's happening right now, and obviously Taarna isn't affected. And I think it's because there might be something in the food, because the commander dude mentions the rations that everyone's getting. So I think there's something in the food or something in the water or something. And obviously Taarna hasn't had time to have the food or the water, so she's completely fine. It could also just be because she's Tarakian and she's different. She has a stronger will, or something like that, or something about her Tarakianness just makes her immune to mind control. I don't know, but she isn't affected. And then they go out and there's this big battle scene, and it's okay. Taarna has her sword and the gun that they gave her, and she's doing shit, and she's kicking ass and everything like that. And Suki gets her leg blown off. Like they're fighting, and she's fighting near Taarna, and like a bomb goes off or something, and Suki pushes Taarna out of the way, and then she gets her fucking leg. No, she gets her arm blown off, and maybe her leg, or maybe her leg is just damaged. I don't know, but she's hurt really fucking bad. And Taarna doesn't want to leave her because she was nice to her, and she thinks of her as a friend and stuff like that. Or maybe not. I feel like that would be something Taarna would do. And she's standing near Suki, and the commander dude is looking over the battle, and I was like, hey, she's just like mindlessly running at the enemy and killing them. She's protecting this other soldier. Dude, do something about it. And dude comes over and says, "Hey, leave this bitch behind. You have to go fight." And then he gets his head blown off. Yeah, that happens. Um, and that's when I noticed that one of the demons are riding the same type of bird that Taarna used to ride. It's like, what the fuck is that? And then she jumps up and kills the dude, and he falls to the ground, but his demon face comes up because it's a mask. He's a dude wearing a mask, and his armor has the Tarakian symbol on it. So, like, what the fuck is happening? And that's what the comic ends, obviously. But like, it ends on a pretty decent cliffhanger, actually. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? I do think this is interesting. I do want to keep reading this, and it was pretty good. Taarna seems like she's mute, so she obviously, you don't really know a whole lot about her, but just from her actions, it's like she gets stopped by the military police, and then they arrest her, and she doesn't fight back. She's just like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but these guys might be okay. And they're military, and I'm a fighter, so fuck it, I'll just surrender myself. I'm not sure how she feels about Suki and the brother getting arrested too, because but like, Suki is helping her out, and I like Suki. She's a pretty cool character. I hope she doesn't die. I don't want her to die. The brother I'm kind of indifferent to, because like I said, he's kind of the Sokka in this equation, and I don't think a lot of people really liked Sokka at the beginning of Last Airbender, but I hope he doesn't. Like, I don't want him to die. It's like if he did, I probably wouldn't be upset about it or anything. But overall, this was a pretty good comic. The art was actually pretty decent. There was some weirdness in a few panels, like when Taarna first wakes up and picks up her sword. It's like her arm just suddenly grew like another 2 feet. It was really strange, but there aren't really that many like weird artistic inconsistencies with this, and surprisingly, despite the fact that A, it's a heavy metal book, and B, Taarna's first appearance in this book is her completely naked, there isn't a lot of like weird posing or overly sexualized, camera shots of her. Other than the one, but even the ones of her being like naked aren't like. I mean, there's the shot of her being completely knocked out, and you get a perfect shot of her tits and pussy. Well, the tufts of her pubes, I guess, but I mean, you don't actually get like full vaginal or anything like that. You just see, yeah. But for the most part, it's the art is pretty decent. The dialogue is actually really good. Like, not amazing, or anything like that. Like, there's not any great like quotes that I can write. Oh my god, that was such a good line. It's just no. The dialogue was serviceable. It was a pretty good read. It also came out in January, so that's worrying. I'm guessing. It's, I don't know. Maybe this first issue didn't sell well, and they're not gonna try and renew it, or maybe it's just taking a long time for the second issue to come out, or like, I don't know. But I actually do hope they continue this series. This is actually pretty interesting, especially since I mean, it is the standard city being, fake city siege in order to most likely hold the governing body in power, like keep the citizens weak so they rely on you type of storyline. But I've always kind of liked those stories. Obviously, Taarna is going to kill a lot of people in order to free the city, but something I think is kind of interesting is so something I didn't mention, and honestly something I didn't really think about until just now, was when when the brother saw the Tarakian symbol on Taarna's neck, he was like, dude, she might be a spy. We don't know. And I actually thought that was odd. Like, why would he think she was a spy just because she had the symbol on her neck? And then you see the end, like I said, the soldier with the mask on has a Tarakian symbol on his armor. So what does that mean? Like, are the Tarakians attacking this, this city? Why are they wearing the demon masks? Is it a conspiracy from the governing body of this city? Like I said, there is mind control involved in this. Just from the way Suki's flip switch from I don't want to be here to let's go out there and kill some people. Like, there is mind control involved in this. So, are they mind controlling people to put on these masks and this Tarakian armor and attack the city so people think the demons are attacking it? Or are there actual Tarakians attacking the city? And if the Tarakians are attacking the city, why? And wasn't it explained in the movie that Taarna was the last Tarakian? Then again, Taarna died in the movie. So there's a lot of questions here. And I really don't want this to be the last issue. Like, this was a really good issue. But then again, like I said, Heavy Metal's was a cult movie, so not a lot of people probably know about it, and like damn you, obscurity, from keeping us from awesome stories like this. Well, that's all I got to say. Taarna #1. If you see it in a comic shop, or you see it on Comixology, or Longbox, or Pullbox, or anything, check out this book, support it, let Heavy Metal Publishing know that we want more of this, because this was awesome. This was really good, and I highly recommend you read it. So, my No Mercy, Mad Hatter. I'll see y'all later.